My goal is to be a full-time maker, and I'm giving myself 1 year to make that happen, to work as hard as I can on this project. So yeah, that didn't go like I thought at all. In my head, I saw myself doing videos just like I did 8 years ago, just off-the-cuff ideas, sketchy builds that I make into handboard ramps, and the occasional house project that I can make into a video. But then I experienced something I've never experienced before: self-oriented perfectionism. I filmed the first video about building the shed and didn't think much of it. I knew this would be a start to a new channel and I wanted to go full time, but I didn't think this first video would be something overly special. But when I got to script writing, voiceover, and editing, I found myself putting way more effort into it. Now don't get me wrong, it's not a masterpiece, it doesn't have any crazy edits, but I tried to make it look like everything was deliberate. I watched my video over and over, and I was, and still am, really proud of it. Suddenly, the bar in my head rose super high, way over any of the ideas that I had thought of over the past few months. None of them had a real story to them, none of them were special enough. In my head, I didn't want to make videos, I wanted to make video projects. Something that tied multiple storylines and points together, answered the why of why I was building what I was building, and made it to where you could watch it over and over again. I will jump in here and say a big part of this thinking was my new obsession at the time with Beau Miles, a YouTuber who makes just crazy videos that are mini documentaries. I can't recommend enough. Go check out Beau Miles. So I started on my next video, documenting the building of a handboard mini ramp. Not just a mini ramp, but a replica of a ramp owned by Skate Church KC, a nonprofit I've been a part of since 2017. I built the whole ramp, filmed everything, wrote the entire script, and when I got to the editing, life happened. I'm known to be a little bit of a multitasker and to have too many hobbies. I'm never bored, and I often get overwhelmed with the option of all the things that I can do with my time. I sometimes feel guilty for not spending my time evenly among all my different hobbies and all my different focuses. Add on to that a full-time job, a wife and 2 toddlers, and my time to myself gets a little thin. I had to be more selective on how I spent my precious time, and one thing I think is very important for myself, my mental health, is to do one thing that's fun just for me every day. So when a large project like these videos come to the least fun part, video editing, I found myself choosing other pastimes. 1 month of procrastination turns into 2 months, into 4 months, and then I just give up on the video entirely. It also didn't help that my first video of the shed didn't blow up into the virality that I hoped it would. It was high hopes, I know, but 100 views is not quite what I was expecting. So the Chandler Makes long form YouTube content was put on hold and not really picked up again. That isn't to say I was doing nothing. In fact, I had the busiest year of my adult life. So instead of reflecting this entire video of what could have been or what I had hoped for a year ago, I want to share with you some of the things I actually did this past year. The past 12 months, I ran sound for 14 different events outside of my full-time audio engineering job. 3 of those events were choir performances. I would bring a handful of microphones, set up, do sound checks, record an entire hour-and-a-half concert, and then come home and edit down those songs, mix them, and master them. This is by far my favorite way to use my college degree, to not be doing live sound, which is very quick and you have to make decisions that are just best in the moment, and taking the time to mix and master something. I think I did like 50 songs over the course of the 3 concerts, taking the time to edit out all the different parts you don't like, change around things, mix the balances, add different effects that are natural and make the whole experience better for the audio listener. Another side job was helping my older brother with his Christmas lighting company. I've helped him out for the past few years doing this, but this year I ramped up a little bit, helping him with different houses and then taking on 7 clients of my own. So that's cutting in custom lights, putting them on their houses, make sure they're going back to the house if any bulbs go out, and then taking down the end of the year. It's a physically demanding gig compared to the audio gigs, but getting to see a whole house lit up with Christmas lights after taking hours screwing each bulb in, it's really cool. I got hired to capture and edit a few videos this year, which I can't really show due to privacy reasons, but that included a quinceañera, a wedding, and then an 8-part long video interview series. I also got contracted for various gigs to be an audio editor, video editor, graphic designer, and an animator. By the way, these don't include the dozens of videos that I make and produce for my full-time job. So you can kind of see how when I get home from all of that work, editing another video that is not going to get seen by a lot of people wasn't high on my list of priorities. Outside of these jobs, I tried to make it a habit to live stream once a week here in the shed, working on various projects, a lot of them improving, well, the shed. I added a wood-burning stove, a miter saw station, built an outfeed table with drawers, built out my office with a few amenities, set up more dust collection, and overall just made it a space that I love to be in. It's not pretty, and it's difficult to keep clean, but I really adore it. Aside from shop projects, I did a lot of woodworking. I'm not going to try to list every single thing I made this year, but I will say that I shipped out 45 items through my website, Chandler Makes, a vast majority of those being handmade wooden products. I was also commissioned to make 4 custom pieces for different customers, which is a first for me. I learned so much about working on larger projects and how issues can snowball. I had to fully start over on a few projects, which hurt, but overall I'm really happy with what I made. In October, I got really motivated to share what I was making and push myself further. So every day for that month, I made something, filmed it, and posted it on Instagram with the hashtag Maketober2023. It was a fun challenge. Some days were way harder than others, but I'm planning on doing it again this year to push me outside my comfort zone. I also started working with Lowe's on sponsored Instagram posts. I'm not sure how long it'll last, but for now, I get free products and I make videos about them, which is pretty awesome. It's led me to get items that I wouldn't purchase myself due to price, but man, the step up in quality makes me realize that sometimes the high quality stuff is worth it. I'm currently working on a $2,500 project for our renovation of our basement. That video should be on Instagram soon. So what does this all mean? Well, I learned that I still like making things a lot. I also learned that filming myself making things is not my favorite. Kind of takes the fun out of it. I love getting sidetracked mid-project, following tangents of repairing something in the shop, or Googling a different way to make the joint, or handboarding for a few minutes. Having a camera set up makes me think of how the edit will look instead of enjoying the moment that I'm in. I also learned it's really hard to control what you're going to be doing in the future. I had so many amazing opportunities this year, none of which I planned for. They weren't all wrapped up in a nice YouTube bundle that I had imagined. Instead, they came from all my different interests and hobbies. If I view my success this past year in the lens of YouTube, well, it's clearly a failure. But in writing this script and recounting all the things that I've done this year, it's hard not to view this year as a success. So as I set out last year to the day, actually, to become a full-time content creator, is that the reality? No, very, very far from it. I'm still a full-time job working on projects on the side. I'm learning to ditch the black and white thinking of full-time content creator and not, and just enjoy the projects that life brings me. Thank you for watching.